Son, I'm sorry, but you'd get crushed out there. That's what Coach Thompson told 17-year-old David Martinez as he handed back his application. It was the 31st rejection letter he'd received. Every single college football program had turned him down for the same reason. He was simply too small. 10 years later, that same coach would be begging him for an autograph. South Chicago isn't known for producing football stars. The concrete playgrounds and crowded streets are better suited for basketball or no sports at all. But for David Martinez, football was everything. Growing up in a small apartment with his mother and 3 siblings, the football field was his escape, his sanctuary, and his dream. By his senior year at Lincoln Park High School, David had impressive statistics as a running back: 2,100 rushing yards, 28 touchdowns, and a city championship. What he didn't have was the one thing scouts cared about: size. At 5'9" and 165 pounds, he was consistently overlooked by college recruiters who visited the school. "He's lightning fast and has incredible vision," his high school coach would tell them, but they'd take one look at his measurements and their interest would evaporate. David applied to 31 college football programs across the country, from Division I powerhouses to small Division III schools. "While your achievements are impressive, we do not believe your physical stature is suited for collegiate-level football. But before I tell you what happened next, you need to understand something about David Martinez. His mother, Elena, had immigrated from Mexico with nothing but the clothes on her back and a relentless work ethic. Obstacles are just opportunities wearing disguises," she would tell her children. This wasn't just a saying in the Martinez household. It was a way of life. The day after receiving his 31st rejection, David woke up at 4:30 a.m., just as he had every day for the past 3 years. He laced up his running shoes, grabbed his backpack filled with 30 pounds of weights, and hit the streets of Chicago for his morning workout. But this day was different. As he ran, he formulated a plan. If colleges wouldn't give him a scholarship, he'd find another way in. David applied to Northeastern Illinois University as a regular student, taking out loans and working 2 jobs to pay for his education. The school didn't even have a football team. But what it did have was proximity to Northwestern University, which had one of the most respected football programs in the region, and one of the 31 schools that had rejected him. Every morning for his entire freshman year, David would complete his own workout routine, then make his way to Northwestern's practice field. He couldn't get in, but he could watch from outside the fence. He studied their drills, their plays, their techniques. He recorded everything in a worn notebook he carried everywhere. One morning, a security guard approached him. David expected to be chased away. Instead, the guard said, "You've been here every day for months. What's your deal, kid?" The guard's name was Mike Jeffries, a former Northwestern player himself. After hearing David's story, he made an unprecedented offer. He would let David into the facility during off hours to use the equipment, as long as he cleaned up afterward. But I should pause here to tell you something important about success. It rarely comes from following conventional paths. Sometimes the biggest no in your life is just the universe's way of forcing you to find a better yes. For the next 2 years, David lived a double life: student by day, shadow athlete by night. He trained relentlessly, recording every rep, every sprint, every statistic. His body began to transform, not in height, but in density. Though still 5'9", he packed on 15 pounds of pure muscle. Then came the moment that changed everything. Northwestern was hosting an open walk-on tryout, a formality mostly used for publicity. No walk-on had made their team in 7 years. Mike, the security guard, gave David the news and one piece of advice. Don't tell them your height or weight. Make them see you play first. The day of the tryout, 103 hopefuls showed up. Most were former high school stars with the ideal physical measurements coaches drool over. David was still the smallest one there. The first drill was a 40-yard dash. David ran it in 4.38 seconds, faster than anyone else and faster than several current NFL players. Coaches glanced at their stopwatches, then at each other. Next came agility drills, where David's years of training on concrete playgrounds gave him an uncanny ability to change directions instantly. By the strength portion, coaches were openly discussing him, pointing and nodding. Then came the moment of truth, full contact scrimmage. David was assigned to the scout team, playing against Northwestern's starting defense, collegiate athletes with NFL aspirations, most outweighing him by 100 pounds. On his first carry, David was hit simultaneously by 2 defenders. The sound echoed across the field, and everyone went silent, expecting injury. Instead, David bounced off the tackles and sprinted 60 yards for a touchdown. The defensive coordinator threw his clipboard. "Who the hell is this kid?" By the end of the tryout, head coach Wilson approached David. "Where did you transfer from?" he asked, assuming David had played elsewhere. "Nowhere, sir. This is my first college tryout." The coach's expression changed from confusion to disbelief when David explained his full story. "In 22 years of coaching, I've never seen anything like this," he said. "We want you on our team." But this is where our story takes its most unexpected turn. As David was walking out of the facility, his phone rang. It was Mike, the security guard. "How'd it go?" he asked. "They offered me a spot," David replied. "I thought they might," Mike said. "That's why I called my brother-in-law this morning." What David didn't know was that Mike's brother-in-law was a scout for the Chicago Bears. Based on Mike's recommendation, he had quietly attended the tryout. "Check your email," Mike said. There it was, an invitation to a private workout with the Chicago Bears. Not Northwestern, not college football, the NFL. 3 days later, David Martinez performed the same drills in front of professional coaches. 2 days after that, he received a call that defied all logic in the football world. An undrafted, never-played college ball athlete was being offered a spot at an NFL training camp. The sports media called it a publicity stunt. Commentators predicted he wouldn't last a day against professional athletes. But they didn't know David Martinez. Not only did he survive training camp, he made the final roster as a special teams player. In his first NFL game, he returned a kickoff 103 yards for a touchdown. By mid-season, he had worked his way into the regular offensive rotation. In the following 3 years, David Martinez became one of the most electrifying players in the league, earning Pro Bowl selections, setting records for all-purpose yards, and finally winning a Super Bowl. And that's when life came full circle. At a post-Super Bowl press conference, a reporter asked David about his journey. "I still have them," he said. "Have what?" the reporter asked. "All 31 rejection letters. I keep them framed in my home gym. They're the first thing I see every morning when I work out." As the press conference ended, an older man approached the podium. It was Coach Thompson, the man who had handed David his final rejection letter years ago. "I was wrong about you, son," he said, extending a football. "Would you mind signing this for my grandson? I want him to know that sometimes the experts don't know everything." David smiled, took the football, and wrote, "Size isn't measured in inches or pounds. It's measured in heart." Today, David Martinez runs one of the largest football training academies in America, specializing in athletes who don't fit the traditional mold. His motto is painted on the wall of the facility. "The only measurement that matters is the distance between where you are and where you want to be." His story reminds us that sometimes our greatest strengths come from the very things the world perceives as our weaknesses, and that being told no might just be the beginning of your greatest yes. So the next time someone tells you that you're too small, too old, too different, or too anything to achieve your dreams, remember David Martinez, the man who was too small for football until he became too good to ignore.